Hey y'all, I'm James Wright. Welcome to my shop, and today we're going to be talking about this. Yeah, you can tell this is going to be a different video. Let's figure this thing out. Okay, story time. I get probably a half dozen emails every day from some company wanting me to sell something. I get stuff sent to me in the mail without being asked, just because someone wants me to show it off. And 99.9% of the time, it goes straight into the trash because it's not something I'm going to use. It's nothing I'm going to show. Sometimes I might play with it for a little bit and see if it's something I want to, and then be like, yeah, you know what, I don't really want to do that. But then I got an email from this guy named Davis. And he said, hey, I'm working on this handle. You want to take a look at it? I said, dude, get a grip. I already have handles. And he said, no, wait a second. This thing's got fixed or free rotation on the handle. I mean, really, I don't see why that's something special where you can lock it in place or loosen it up a little bit and have free rotation on there. But then, wait a second, oh, I can put a different tool in there. So it's a handle that I can put different tools. A multi-tool, nice. But you know how I feel about multi-tools. A jack of all trades is good at a lot of things, but it's not great at any one thing. I'd rather have a tool that does that job really well or does that job perfectly. The idea of a tool that does multiple things doesn't intrigue me that much. And besides, it's plastic purple. It's only like 2% of the emails that actually get a reply from me. But then Davis said, hey, I'm gonna be in your town. Mind if I swing by and just show it to you in person? Wait a second, you're not a guy from China? So sure enough, he showed up at my house and started pulling these tools out of his bag and showing me some of the things they could do. I'm looking at most of these things and kind of shaking my head and being like, yeah, it might be good for some people, but that's not great for me. I mean, do you see all my tools back here? And then he pulled out a draw knife that you could put the handles on. I said, yeah, so what? I've got a bunch of draw knives. I've just got... Wait a second. Did you see what my hands did? As I pull towards me, they rotate. That's weird. Hang on. Let me try mine. Oh, that feels bad now. Oh, that feels really good. I like this. It honestly was one of the weirdest feelings I've ever had picking up a tool that I knew how it should work, but suddenly it did something completely different. As you pull toward yourself, you naturally want to roll your wrist. But with normal tools, you can't, and you always are running into your elbows, and it feels really awkward now. Once you have a rotating grip, that rotation it feels good. Then he starts pulling out all these other tools. He asked me if I've ever seen a bow sander, and I said, yeah, I've got several of them. He says, well, look at this. Look at that, we have a bow sander. Then I can take the handles off and put them on these things, which is a tubular bow sander. How about a scraper? You can clean off paint, and this can be fixed, or it can have free rotation. You can put abrasive on the scraper, and use it like a paddle scraper. You could stick a rasp on here or a file, and now you've got a handle you can put on different rasps and files. With that free rotation handle, as I'm doing this, the rasp just naturally flows and my hand stays put. You can see my hand is staying put, but the file is just floating over the surface. There's no fear of the edge suddenly garring in because my hand turns just a little bit. Now it will just float. And then he went and pulled out this thing. Okay, now we're going too far. Demon-possessed yellow is okay, but purple? And he puts it together, and this he calls the Tango 360 because it takes two to tango. And the interesting thing about this is this handle actually has a spring load on there, so when you run one, now the file goes in and out, and both my hands stay put. At this point, I have to say, I'm not sure how I feel about this. I am really conflicted. Part of me feels very dirty. And after thinking about it for several months, it kind of comes down to the idea of the plastic. I don't like the purple. It's just, there's something about that. You know, if it were blue, I might be okay with it. If it were wood and purple, I might be okay with it. But plastic and purple, it's just, the rest of it, these tools, the twisting motion on the draw knife, the free rotation on the files, I love that. But this, I don't know. And that's when he pulled one other thing out of the bucket and said, hey, I've got something for you. Here you go. So you can actually go and make your own wooden handle. Part of me was already thinking, you know, if I just take a chisel and split this out and put on a wooden handle, I would love this. And I've been thinking about this for several months, and the one thing he kept saying is that it's a system. It's not a tool. It's you get other things that you can apply to the system. You can buy the adapters so you can put any tool on there and have fixed or free rotation. And there's a lot of me that really kind of likes that idea, especially after playing with the rotation on the files and the draw knife. That just felt phenomenal. That was several months ago, and I've had a while to think about it. And honestly, I really like the idea, the design, the feel, the function. I really like it, and I would absolutely love to have a set of files with this free rotation handle. That would be phenomenal. Do I want the power tool thing? Well, not so much. And honestly, I'm kind of interested to find out, is this a bit of a gimmick? Because usually the way I find out is I put the tools to use. I put them up on my board behind me and I see, do I happen to grab this or do I grab the one beside it? And whichever one I tend to grab more, well then that is the decision on whether or not I'm going to back something. So why did I go and bring this all up right now? And the answer is, until now, it hasn't been here to play with. And everything you've seen here is just a prototype. He sent me a few things to mess around with. But the first product in the line just came out, and so I had to get one so that I can start experimenting and seeing if I like it. So here's what he's starting with. You open it up, and in here you have sanding papers that can actually go onto a scraper head, as well as a handle with the fixed or free rotation. So I slide this down, and I mesh in the crenellations, and it's fixed. I slide it down, pull it up a little bit, and now it's free rotation. He's doing this as a Kickstarter, and unlike most Kickstarters, he's actually funding the whole thing. And so he's bought a whole bunch of these that he's now selling, and he's going to take the money from this to then make the next tool in the series. And then he'll take the money from that to make the next tool in the series, make the money from that, and you can see how it's going to go. And so it's one of those things where I'm kind of interested to see where this goes in the future. But what's the big reason for making this video? I honestly want to hear from you all. Do you have the same reservations I do, or is this something that intrigues you? How about the Tango 360? I am going to put these tools up on my shop and see, are they something that I grab in comparison to the others? I don't know. And that's one of the fun things I love about new tools and new concepts, is I never know if it's something I'm going to like until I have a chance to actually play with it. And normally I don't make a video until after I've played with it for a while. And that's why I'm telling you over and over again that I have reservations about this. I do not know if this is something that I like or not. And I really want to crowdfund the information and see what you guys think. And particularly if any of you go out and buy the starter kit, is it something that you find yourself playing with? Now I have to say, I'm not sponsored by this at all. He did send me the prototypes to play with ahead of time, and a lot of them are very crude and very rough ideas of things that might be coming out in the future. But I did actually put my money where my mouth is, because I want to see, is this something that I want to use? And that's one of the fun things about hand tools. There's always something new coming out, even though it's things that have been around for thousands of years. The idea of fixed and free rotation is somewhat new. So I'm looking forward to experimenting and seeing what I find out. And I'd love to hear from you guys. What about this is intriguing to you? Is there something in here that's wildly interesting or different? I would love to hear your thoughts on it, as well as I'll leave links to all of this down below so you can go take a look at it and let me know your thoughts. If you do have any questions, thoughts, ideas, snide remarks, throw those down below. I do read through all the comments. I answer as many of the questions that I get to, and it really does mean a lot because it helps out the channel. Anytime you like, comment, share, subscribe, you know all that thing. Thank you. But if you really want to go farther and really help out this channel, think about joining those people over there. Those are the patrons on Patreon. And this is where I really, really love it, because I am sponsored by those people, not these people. So I get to say what I want to say. I get to invest where I want to invest, and rather than messing with what some company in China wants to send me, I get to actually talk with some of the inventors and experiment with different things and see what I want to talk about. And that's what I absolutely love. And if you'd like that, think about joining the patrons on Patreon, or clicking the join button down below, or the thank you button. It really does mean a lot. And without you, we wouldn't be here. We are completely sponsored by you. So I think that'll do it for now. And until next time, have a wonderful day. Yeah, well, you know, I'm not going to go there. Oh, there's so much in this with the strap and the purple and... Ah! I know it's kind of hard to believe, but I love all of the tools on my wall. The problem is that most of them just don't reciprocate.